Coach, when you kind of look at these players and as you've scouted them and now that you project them, do they fit into your system, or is there, you see that as how?
I hope so. Here's the one thing, and I think coaches they try to give themselves too much credit. Go recruit great football players, and then have the ability to fit the system to those football players. And Tyler Russell's a perfect example of that. We're going to fit the offense around his talents, just like I have every quarterback that I've ever recruited. We need to find the strengths of each one of these individual players and make sure we're putting them in a position to be successful. That's what we're always going to do. We're going to run the spread offense. We're going to spread the field and try to create matchups. But there's a lot of different ways to create mismatches out there on the football field. So our goal, our objective is always to go find those best football players we possibly can find a way to put them out there on a field in a matchup situation where they can win their matchup and be successful. And I think we found a bunch of guys that are going to create matchup problems for people here in the Southeastern Conference.
Coach, you talked about the 6 JUCO guys coming in early in the high school. Is that something you'd like to do in the future to make sure mid-semester guys?
I think it's a huge benefit. I don't slam the fist when I talk to the recruits on the table and say we need you to come in early, but I think that gives them a big head start. I think in 2 ways. One, they're getting the opportunity to go through our off-season conditioning program right now to train with the rest of the team, as well as spring practice. When you practice in spring and you start off practicing every other day, they have an opportunity to learn and absorb the offense and defensive schemes a little bit better. When you start in the fall in 2-a-days, it's accelerated. What you learn that morning is great, but you're going to put in a whole nother package in the afternoon and another one the next morning. You don't have 24 or 48 hours to let it soak in. So I think they have a little advantage that way, even though we're going to have to accelerate the learning curve of some of these the younger high school players enrolling in the fall. But I'd like to. I think that number's probably pretty solid. If we can walk away each year with anywhere from 5 to 8 players enrolling early, getting the opportunity to go through a spring practice and get their career jump started faster is a big benefit for us.
Coach, your first experience, I know you didn't have long before when you were hired, but recruiting the Southeastern Conference in a short amount of time, what was toughest about that, or any surprises there?
Being in it just in this conference for the last 4 years, we had the meetings with the staff, and anybody that hadn't been in it before sat down to make it perfectly clear to them. This is the toughest conference that you're going to recruit in the United States, and I think go look online and see where everybody's recruiting class ranks in the Southeastern Conference. And you realize why it's such a great conference. It's not the fact that, there's, every conference, they say the 3 so-called power teams per conference, and they have the top recruiting class, and then everybody else is down in the middle of the pack. Most years it seems almost everybody in the Southeastern Conference has a top 25 recruiting class. And so, that translates to the players you have to play against in this league on Saturdays. And it's not just when there's 3 schools that have top recruiting classes. You're looking at 12 schools that have top recruiting classes. And I think that's what makes this league, the depth of this league, so tough. And, every day you're going out on the road right there, you're recruiting against the best recruiters in the United States. As a head coach, I'm recruiting against it. As position coaches, our recruiting coaches, our recruiting area coaches, they're going against the best recruiters in the United States of America, going after the best players in the best league. So, you better come ready to work, and work on next year's class. Started today. We have 1 year. It probably started a little before today, actually, but officially, I looked at the staff today and said, all right, we have 1 year to sign a better class next year than we did this year, because we don't want to stay the same. We want to continue to improve here. And so they've been made perfectly clear for our staff, for me, and and I hope we'll make it clear for all the high school coaches and the work they're seeing, the players in this state, the effort we'll put forth to put together another great recruiting class.
You almost completely answered what I was about to ask you right there. I wanted to ask you about when did you start looking at next year? What kind of things do you do, and then what's next for you guys?
What's next? We've already started, players. We really kind of got everybody assigned finally in recruiting areas, who's going to be recruiting what areas for us. And, for us, the coaches right now have a couple weeks to get the top players evaluated, talked to, invited up for our junior recruiting days coming up here in the near future. We'll start as soon as our coaches. I'm giving them the next couple days off so they can go see their families finally or get settled and try to prepare to move their families here to Starkville. The new coaches that I've hired. Then as soon as we get back, we'll start evaluating tape and get ready to roll on next year's class, because it's something, recruiting something you have to do every single day. It's year round, and if you're not, then you're going to fall behind, especially in this conference. So we're going to try to get a jump start, get after these young young players in the state early. We'll start within the state and then expand out from there. That's always going to be our motto. And you'll see one thing we'll do is, I know every one of our coaches we will be in every high school in the state of Mississippi before we go anywhere else to recruit. Make sure we've exhausted the talent in this state, and then we'll go to Alabama, then we'll go to Louisiana and out to Texas and Georgia and Florida, and up to Tennessee, in the surrounding areas. But a lot of our focus is going to be making sure we don't miss the top player in this state.
Coach, you said that about this time you'd be ready to announce the assignments that your staff has. Are you ready for that yet?
Yeah, we're there. I think tomorrow we were going to do the official release for everybody. Just so today's focus can be just on the recruiting class and the great efforts of all our coaches. But I think tomorrow we're going to have all the official announcements of who's coaching what positions at this point.
Coach, I know on an individual basis they probably have to prove it to you, but in general, what is your philosophy in playing younger players? Are you hesitant to do that, or is that something you like doing?
No, we're going to put our best 11 players on the field every single snap, however we can. Whoever's going to give us the best chance to be successful, whether it's a fifth-year senior or a true freshman. And the only thing I want to make sure that we'll be very cautious of, we're not going to play someone until they're ready to play. I'm not going to put a young player in a position where they won't be successful. But if they're ready to play, if we think they give us the best opportunity to win, they're going to be out there on the field, no matter what the position, no matter who the player is or what age they are, what class they're in. Our best 11 players are going to be on the field at all times. No problem. Thank you all very much.